Welcome back to Take Two, a discussion of the times and current events. I'm joined as always by Adam Matlack and Mike Pomerantz, and our question today is which becomes a focal point of the election first? Biden's mental acuity or Trump's economy losing steam?
Okay, so I'm not sure. I've looked around. I don't have my tinfoil hat to put on, but I'm going to put it on metaphorically here. So, look, I don't want to sound like a total moron, but the reality is the media in this country is skewed. The narrative is shaped by very few corporations, very few organizations, and very few talking heads. And I believe that this can be answered very simply. It's definitely going to be the economy that is the narrative first before Biden's mental acuity. Because, simply put, there's no way most of these pundits are going to admit or challenge the Democratic establishment that says, Biden he's good, he's all these things, he's healthy, he's all this stuff, all the cognitive stuff. They're not going to do that. I would literally be shocked beyond measure if that's the case. And it's really just out of selfish realities, too, that most people care more about their pensions than how stupid the president is. And Trump probably shows that better than most because the guy is an idiot. And most people don't care as long as the Dow was almost crusting over 30,000 here. The last thing anybody cared about was how well any of the people who cared more about their pensions, they definitely didn't care. But look, Trump needs a great economy, full steam ahead for him to win re-election. And without where we sit now, he could get crushed like Mondale got crushed. And so it's definitely the media against him and not in his pocket alongside with the economy. It's no question the economy is definitely going to be the narrative.
So much good stuff there, Adam. I do think that in terms of prognostication, in other words, what's going to happen next, I do think you're right. Whether that's because it's not a level playing field in terms of perception. I mean, here's the thing. If your day one strategy is the media is out to get me, everyone hates me, no one will tell the truth, then 3.5, 4 years later, if nobody believes you and all the media is out to get you, I think it's important to look at the complicity of Trump in that circumstance. I do believe that is a correct assessment of the current circumstance. He's got Fox News, but the problem is, like, there's only so many Hillary Clinton stories Fox News can run. There's only so many Democrats in disarray stories Fox News can run. There's only so many teacher sleeps with student Fox News can run. They have to talk about the economy. And it's so funny. If you go to one channel where they're like, oh, this teacher slept with this student, or look, there's Hillary Clinton again. If you go to another Fox channel, the business network, you do start to see reality, because the whole point of these numbers is supposedly they don't lie. Now, how much of that is Trump's fault? How much of that is this is an excuse for the bubble to burst? I mean, we can have that conversation in another setting. The other part of it is, I mean, I think Biden may actually have a problem. And I wonder how much of that can be covered up, not necessarily by the media, but by, and you hear some of this, like they're not letting him out. They're hiding him. He's already winded before he even gets to the first lap of the race. Biden's going to have, I mean, he's the prohibitive favorite. If he becomes the nominee, he's going to have to be kept on a very tight, short leash. But Trump's problem is, if we're weighing these two things, Biden's acuity versus the economy, Biden's acuity you can manage a little bit. The economy, I mean, he can't get into a Twitter fight and make it go away. And that's his skill. That's his superpower. This is his kryptonite. He can't make it go away.
Yeah, if it's not good for business, and it's not good for Trump. And so the idea that greatest economy ever, greatest stock market prices ever. He was flaunting these things. They're going to slam him on it, and he deserves it. As you claim the gains, you're going to own the losses. And so it's a long time till November. And as we saw, the Fed's injecting $1 trillion, unprecedented as far as I'm concerned, in a 48-hour stretch. The market barely responded to it. It's a crazy signal. Look, every year into an election, like literally the last 40 years, the Fed has tanked the rates going into an election year. And with that signals every time the S&P 500 is 14 weeks, 25 weeks later has skyrocketed compared to what it was. That's the question for me. If we see a measured real recovery, there's no doubt that I think Biden's cognitive capabilities are going to be called into question. And I think they are now being called into question because the party has not unified yet. There's still significant beef with the hardliners on the left, and I mean real left, Bernie left, that are fine with calling themselves socialists, even though they don't know what it means. I think they are not okay. They're still attacking, and there's still significant hope. And even some of the pundits are still very Bernie supporters. They're not traditional Dems, and so until that unification happens, you're going to see a mixed message out of the majors in terms of what is the narrative, economy versus challenger or cognitive function.
Yeah, and you're totally right that there's a lot of time left. And right now that we're in the middle of this insane coronavirus situation, the minutes pass like hours. So much happens in a single day. But when we look at some places where they've had really good results, like South Korea and Singapore, I think there is a possibility that you get some stabilization, and then the hard spotlight goes on the mental acuity. The key thing, what you just said, is that if there is, as there has been in the past, when you get this infusion of cash, if there is not a sugar rush, but I think you said measured. And I don't think this market's going to be measured because they look to the man at the top to see what's going to happen in America. And, he's not measured. I mean, he was measured in his Oval Office speech last night. Maybe this is the pivot that everybody's been waiting for from Trump. But I think more likely he will continue to be erratic. And so we'll see, as we have during this week. I mean, today's a horrible day, but I could very easily see 1,000-point gain tomorrow, and we go into the weekend, everybody's feeling good. And then, Monday, we're all like putting our heads in our hands again.
Definitely could happen.
Thank you both. That's all the time we have. If you enjoyed our video, please be sure to like and subscribe below and join us for our next installment of Take Two.